Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany, and this is my partner for today's podcast, Cam. Today, Cam and I will be diving into the history of Title IX and how it affects women of color differently from white women, and how it is still playing a role in today's society. By examining sources based off of these topics, we have lots of information to share with you.
Did you know that last year on June 23rd, 2022, the country celebrated 50 years of Title IX?
I did not know that. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that means?
Sure, I can. The U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, as well as the for Civil Rights, says that the Title IX is landmark federal civil rights at law passed in 1972 that was initially designated to address gender-based discrimination in educational institutions that receive federal funding. Most notably, it aimed to provide equal opportunities for women in sports and education, ensuring that they have the same access and resources as their male counterparts.
How has the implementation of this law affected women of color differently than white women?
The implementation of Title IX has presented varied experiences for different groups of women, particularly African American women. While the legislation aimed to level the playing field, the reality is a little more complex.
According to a study done on race and gender equity in sports, conducted by American behavioral scientists, in sports, Title IX brought significant strides by increasing female participation, but African American women often face unique hurdles. Despite progress, studies show that African American women are underrepresented in leadership positions in sports and have limited access to resources compared to white female athletes. From that same study conducted by American behavioral scientists, it states these challenges included racial bias, stereotyping, and inadequate support systems. They might even face double discrimination based on both race and gender, impacting their educational experiences.
That's really surprising. I would have thought these kinds of problems would have been taken care of after over 50 years of legislation. It seems like those are some of the biggest issues that Title IX was aimed to eliminate.
While Title IX was a strong piece of legislation, there are still gaps to be filled. We spoke about race and how racial stereotypes and bias can affect sports, especially women's sports. However, there's more work that needs to be done to ensure equal opportunities. In the report, 50 years of Title IX were not done yet. Professors specified in gender studies and gender related legislation give their feedback on the shortcomings of Title IX. Cam, can you pick up and go further into your secondary source?
Absolutely. Authors and reviewers discuss Title IX progress, shortcomings, and areas for improvement in my report. They emphasize racial equality and the need for true equality in women's sports, focusing on key areas like equal funding for training, equipment, medical assistance, and coaching. Although Title IX has made strides, a substantial funding gap still persists. Additionally, while the law addresses harassment, sexual harassment still remains a significant issue in women's sports that requires stronger attention. However, in better news, Title IX has been a catalyst for empowerment. It has provided African American women with opportunities to excel in sports and education, fostering resilience and determination in the face of adversity.
Even though there are still challenges faced within the gender part of Title IX, the U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, along with the Office for Civil Rights, states that the goal is clear to ensure equity for all women under Title IX. The Office for Civil Rights states that its continuous journey towards breaking down barriers, promoting inclusivity, and fostering opportunities that empower all women, including African American women, to thrive in sports and education. Thank you all for joining us today as we discuss Title IX and how it has affected women differently based on race, along with how Title IX is still prevalent today.